Good afternoon, everyone. Come on. Thank you. I am delighted to join all of my fellow members of the Swarthmore community in welcoming you all to campus. All of us, faculty, staff, and students, have been eagerly awaiting the arrival of the great class of 2022. We are thrilled that you finally made it. Now, I have several young relatives and family friends who've gone off to college in the past couple of years. And when I've asked them what the presidents of their colleges said to the first-year students at these opening meetings, for the most part, they don't remember a word. Like you, these are talented, dedicated, energetic young people, but their and your minds and hearts are so full of ideas and emotions at this point that there just doesn't seem to be room for any more advice or any more words of wisdom. You're probably thinking about friends and family you've left behind, as well as all the new people you're about to meet and get to know. You're excited and perhaps a bit apprehensive about the academic work that lies ahead, the activities in which you'll participate, the stranger with whom you'll be living for the academic year, also known as your roommate, and on and on. Nevertheless, the four of us are going to ask you to try to quiet your minds long enough to hear our brief reflections on the queries as a way of preparing you to reflect upon them in your own way during the next few days and in the weeks, months, and years to come. And when you reconvene as a class on Saturday evening, you'll have a chance to share some of the thoughts these queries prompt for you. So I want to tell you about two moments that touched me deeply this summer. They are both about performance and the audience experience. I share these stories because I want to make the point that even though they are often trivialized, the arts, theater, music, visual art, creative writing, film, dance, are deeply meaningful to human life and existence. As you begin to make choices about your courses and activities during the next 4 years, I encourage you to cultivate your appreciation of the arts as a performer or creator and as a viewer or audience member. I'll share two quick stories with you, and then I will tell you why I encourage you to explore the arts during your time at Swarthmore. Like many people around the country and across the globe, I've been listening to a lot of Aretha Franklin and watching YouTube videos of her performances since she passed away on August 16th. Her voice and recordings have been part of the soundtrack of my life for as long as I can recall. But since her death, as I listen to her music over and over again, I'm hearing it differently, trying to appreciate at a deeper level the myriad qualities that give her music its lasting significance. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about the complexity and virtuosity of her sound, the multiplicity of her influences, gospel, jazz, blues, rock, opera, pop, and so on. Instead, I want to focus for a moment on her use of what the literary and music critic Daphne Brooks has described as her intelligent use of melisma, or the vocal run, as, quote, a kind of singing in which notes upon notes are strung together into one syllable. Now, for some popular singers, melisma is a sign of their vocal athleticism. They use vocal runs in a way that bears little relation to the words they're actually singing or the emotions about which they're singing. But Aretha Franklin is credited with taking melisma from gospel music and the Black church and introducing it into popular music, using it, to quote Daphne Brooks again, and I quote, to exude sheer visceral power and ignite existential catharsis, to suggest emotional revelation and spiritual reckoning. Now, if you haven't already seen it, I encourage you to watch Aretha Franklin's performance at the 2015 Kennedy Center Awards. That year, the legendary singer and songwriter Carole King received a Kennedy Center Award, and as a surprise to her and to the audience, Aretha Franklin appeared on stage to perform Natural Woman. Natural Woman is a Carole King composition that King herself performed perfectly beautifully, but that Aretha Franklin took to a completely different level. Franklin's performance that evening was breathtaking, exhilarating, and as the camera focuses on Carole King's face, it exudes an irrepressible admiration and joy in appreciation of the way Franklin transmogrified even, her words and music all those years ago. But what's even more powerful is to see the impact on the audience. President Obama wiping a tear away, Michelle Obama and so many others singing along, their bodies swaying in time to the call of the lead vocals and the response of the backup singers and the accompaniment. If you know the song, and perhaps even if you don't, it's almost impossible not to sing along with Aretha Franklin. And as the song builds to its crescendo, replete with the use of repetition and the melisma that I was talking about a moment ago, it's as if the audience becomes one with each other, with the vocalist and with the backup singers, as they plumb the depths and scale the heights of longing and desire. Second story. A few weeks ago, I attended a performance of Hello, Dolly on Broadway. This was a revival of the acclaimed show that first opened in 1964. This particular revival opened in April 2017 and originally starred Bette Midler, who won a Tony for her performance in the lead role before she left the production in January. She returned for the last 6 weeks, and I was able to see her in the show before it closed. Her performance was electrifying as well. At the narrative level, Dolly Levy, matchmaker and title character, takes great delight in her work, her friends, her acquaintances, her own sense of humor, her food, her life in general. But beyond that, Bette Midler is obviously taking delight in the role itself. The audience delights in reconnecting with the familiar story and music, and in seeing a legendary, beloved artist in an iconic role. In this particular production, these layers of delight come together when, in the second act, we hear the burlesque opening strains of the song we've all been waiting for, the title song, Hello, Dolly. This scene is set in an upscale restaurant supper club that Dolly and her late husband used to frequent. But since his death, she hasn't been back. On the night in question, she has returned because she believes that it's time for her to return fully to life and to love. Dolly sings the first stanza to a male chorus of waitstaff who gaze up at her, resplendent in a smashing red silk evening dress with a matching dramatic feathered hat and a diamond-encrusted necklace. And as she descends the central staircase, singing hello to Harry and Louie, telling Danny he looks swell, and she can tell Manny, the audience went wild, applauding, whistling, cheering. This moment also captured the power and vitality of live performance. The audience is loving the performance in the moment, but it's also cheering for Dolly's return. It's loving the classic song, and it's loving Bette Midler's rendition of that song, luxuriating in every note of her characteristically round, open-throated voicing. And in that moment, as in the YouTube video of Aretha Franklin, you feel the audience's joy in reconnecting with the familiar story and music, creating a palpable circuit of pleasure that reminds us of the power of live performance. In both of these moments, watching Aretha Franklin, watching Bette Midler, I felt profound joy at being human, at being part of a species that is capable of producing and performing such compelling music. And in the case of the live theater production, I was thrilled as well by the spectacle of watching acting, singing, and dancing at such an extraordinary level, of seeing such luscious costumes, evocative sets, and lighting. And on top of all of that, I was thrilled to share in this moment of delight with my fellow audience members. The playwright Ayad Akhtar has written that theater is the site of our earliest collective negotiations with our tremendous vulnerability to existence. At its best, theater is the experience of us as one mind, one heart, one body. By this light, it is little wonder that a group of neuroscientists have shown that watching live theater can synchronize the heartbeats of an audience. As the neuroscientist Joe Devlin at University College London has observed, experiencing live theater performance is extraordinary enough to overcome group differences and produce a common physiological experience in the audience members. Now, we find ourselves in a moment when the arts and the humanities, for that matter, are considered to be unnecessary, superfluous to education at virtually every level. As you begin your careers at Swarthmore, I want to disabuse you of that notion and to encourage you to seize the opportunity to embrace the arts as an important part of your education. We have outstanding faculty in music, art and art history, creative writing, film, dance, and theater. Take advantage of studying with these professors. And because college is a time for intellectual risk-taking, challenge yourself to take a class or join an organization that exposes you to an art form with which you are unfamiliar. In so doing, you may be humbled by your apparent lack of skill, but that's a good thing. It will show you something about how you learn. You will begin to develop a side of yourself you didn't know you had, and a way of knowing of which you didn't realize you were capable. You are surrounded by a student body that includes enormously talented visual artists, dancers, musicians, actors, set or lighting designers, directors. Indeed, you may be one of those enormously talented individuals yourself. Attend campus performances and exhibits, whether by your fellow students or by visiting artists. Take advantage of our proximity to Philadelphia. Go into the city to hear live music, whether it's rock, jazz, pop, classical, techno, reggae, punk, whatever your preference. Take advantage of the opportunity to attend readings, to visit galleries and museums, to watch dance, theater, and film. In this way, you will advance your ability to lead fully rounded lives, whether as artists yourselves or as supporters of the arts. You will experience the joy of shared creation or of shared feeling with your fellow audience members. You'll cultivate your ability to imagine yourself into the life of another person, perhaps someone very different from yourself. To paraphrase molecular biologist and former president of Princeton, Shirley Tillman, your appreciation of the arts may not turn you into an artist, but it will help you become people who can invest your work in whatever your chosen field with the empathy, originality, expressiveness, beauty, and collaborative spirit that define the artistic life. Thank you.